Let me ask you something. Mexico won their opening match 2-0, they're top of the group, and somehow I'm sitting here more worried about them than before the game started. Does that make any sense to you? Because it does to me, and by the time I'm done here, it'll make sense to you too. Right, let's get into it properly. Mexico beat South Africa 2-0 in the group opener. On paper, clean sheet, 2 goals, job done, move on. But I've been doing this long enough to know that the scoreline is the worst possible way to evaluate a football match, and this scoreline in particular is doing Mexico an enormous amount of flattery that they absolutely do not deserve. You see what I mean? 2-0 sounds comfortable. 2-0 sounds like a team in control. This was not a team in control. This was a team that benefited from South Africa essentially gifting them the match, and that distinction matters enormously when you look at what's coming later in this group. Here's the thing about Mexico that you have to understand before anything else. They are the hosts. They are playing significant portions of this tournament at altitude, in conditions they have trained in and adapted to, in stadiums where the thin air is their friend and everyone else's nightmare. That is a genuine competitive advantage, and they know it, and they are absolutely trying to leverage it by pushing for first place in the group so they can stay up in the highlands for as long as possible. Fine, smart. That's good tournament management. But the advantage of altitude only gets you so far if your final third is this disorganized, and that is what kept nagging at me through 90 minutes against South Africa. Santiago Giménez was the focal point up front, and he scored with a header, which tells you something useful about South Africa's defensive deficiencies in the air, rather than something glowing about Mexico's attacking build-up. South Africa lined up with 5 at the back, right? Which in theory should give you aerial coverage, should give you bodies in the box, should give you protection against exactly the kind of delivery that led to that goal. And still they couldn't handle it. Their captain, the tallest player in the squad, got sent off, which made things worse. But even before that, the defensive width was all wrong. There were gaps you could drive a truck through, and the backline had the kind of positional discipline you'd expect from a friendly kickabout, not a World Cup group stage. So yes, Giménez headed it in. Good for him. But ask yourself honestly whether Mexico's attacking organization created that opportunity, or whether South Africa's disorganization handed it to them. And I think you know the answer. Then there's Julian Quinones, who plays in Saudi Arabia and who I was curious to see at this level. And look, I'll be fair, he has pace, he has energy, he gets into positions. But his finishing, his decision-making in front of goal, the angles he was choosing when he had chances, all of it was rough. Not rough in a way that one good game fixes. Rough in a way that suggests this is where his game genuinely is right now. And at a World Cup against the better defenses this group has to offer, that roughness gets punished. Brian Gutierrez, the 22-year-old, I'm being diplomatic when I say he looked nervous. He picked up a yellow card early, which immediately put a ceiling on how aggressive he could be, and then when he had a clear opportunity on goal, he didn't have the sharpness to convert it. Now, 22 years old at a World Cup, I'm not going to destroy the kid for that. But Mexico's collective attacking efficiency, the quality of the last pass, the timing of the runs, the combination play in the final third, none of it was flowing. They could not put South Africa away in the first half when South Africa's defense was already showing every weakness it had. And that is an efficiency problem you cannot just attribute to one nervous youngster. And this is where I need you to think ahead with me, because none of this stays abstract. Mexico are going to play South Korea next, and after that potentially face England in the knockout stage. England, a team with genuine defensive organization, physical presence, pace going forward, and absolutely no interest in gifting Mexico anything. When the goals stop being assisted by opposition errors and have to come from genuine quality in Mexico's attacking structure, what happens? I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying the evidence from this match does not give me confidence that they can, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise just because the scoreline looks good. Now, South Korea against Czech Republic finished 2-1 to South Korea, and honestly, that match told me more interesting things tactically than the Mexico game did. Czech Republic were playing at altitude in Mexico City, over 2,000 meters above sea level, and you could see it. If you've never seen a physically large, aerobically demanding team try to function at altitude when they're not acclimatized, what you saw from Czech Republic in that match is exactly what it looks like. The bigger the player, the harder the altitude hits, and Czech Republic's squad runs big. Their movement was labored, their pressing couldn't sustain itself, their ability to chase balls and recover positions was compromised throughout, and by the second half they were essentially running on fumes. They grabbed a goal through a throw-in situation, which is frankly the most honest summary of how their attacking play was going, and you have to feel for them a little because they are a decent side being asked to operate in conditions that systematically neutralize their strengths. Korea's head coach Hong Myung-bo, a former central defender himself, set up a defensive structure that genuinely worked. High defensive line, organized shape, limited Czech Republic's aerial threat, and took away their pace. As a defensive performance in the first half, it was impressive. The problem, and Hong Myung-bo clearly knew this because he fixed it at halftime, was that the attacking side of the game was not functioning. Son Heung-min, and I say this with full respect for what he is as a player, looked tired. He was relying on long-range efforts, he wasn't finding the spaces he needs to be at his best, and the pace that makes him dangerous simply was not there in the first half. Lee Kang-in is young, quick, and was being underutilized, which is a different kind of frustrating problem. And the three centre-back system that was protecting them so well defensively was simultaneously strangling their ability to transition quickly, because without genuine pace in wide areas, you cannot make that system work going forward. You see what I mean? It's a tactical trap. You're protecting yourself with one hand and suffocating yourself with the other. Hong Myung-bo's switch to 4 at the back in the second half is the single most important tactical moment of either match in Group A so far. Because what it did was release Hwang In-beom from purely defensive responsibilities and let him drive forward into the spaces Czech Republic, exhausted and underpowered at altitude, simply could not close. 1 goal, 1 assist from Hwang In-beom after that switch. That is the outcome of a correct tactical decision made at the right moment, and it secured the 3 points. The honest critique of Hong Myung-bo is that he should have read it faster. Czech Republic were clearly suffering from the altitude from relatively early on, and if the adjustment had come 10 minutes earlier, maybe the match was not as tense as it was in the closing stages. The switch in substitutions was too slow. But he did make the correct call in the end, and Korea won, and now the group is genuinely interesting. Here is where we stand. Mexico and South Korea are the 2 teams who look capable of finishing first and second, and their head-to-head is going to define this group. Mexico have the altitude advantage and they have pace that, used correctly in the first half, could put South Korea in a very uncomfortable position before Hong Myung-bo has time to make adjustments. South Korea have a higher technical ceiling, and if Lee Kang-in is given proper time and space, genuine attacking threat that Mexico's goalkeeper, whose handling was not exactly inspiring against South Africa, might struggle to deal with. Czech Republic play South Africa next, in Atlanta, with air conditioning, at sea level essentially, and with South Africa already having had their captain sent off. Czech Republic should win that match. They should win it clearly. The altitude problem disappears, South Africa's aerial weakness is still there, and Czech Republic at sea level with time to recover is a very different proposition to what we saw in Mexico City. 3 points there keeps them mathematically alive. But the real story, the match that actually decides this group, is Mexico against South Korea. And here is my honest assessment going into that game. Mexico need to be fast, aggressive, and direct in the first half before altitude fatigue and substitutions can change the dynamic. South Korea need Hong Myung-bo to put his fastest players on the pitch from the start and not wait until halftime to solve the problem he already knows is coming. And if I'm picking one team to finish first, with the altitude, with the home support, with South Africa having done Mexico the enormous favor of not making them earn that 2-0 properly, I still lean Mexico, but I am watching them with both eyes open and both hands over my face, and I suggest you do the same. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.